Also, guys, you might be wondering, why is my voice sounding like this? Like, guys, that's because I'm sick. Again, I'm sick. Literally, I'm sick. Did you know that McQueen's tongue? Oh, McQueen's tongue.
You know that as a reference to the Cars writer and director John Lasseter, every now and then, Lightning McQueen's tongue pops out when he's thinking about something. This is a characteristic of Lasseter, which his animators gleefully incorporated into the film. Carl Fredrickson's car from Up has the same white walls as Lightning McQueen.
Better than a Ferrari, huh?
No. Did you know the tractors that Mater and McQueen are tipping give off an electronic moo sound? Which was taken from Milky the Marvelous Milking Cow, a Kenner toy introduced in 1978. Did you know that when Lightning McQueen wakes up in the impound yard, the parking boot is on the driver's side front tire, but Mater hooks up to Lightning's rear to tow him in? He should have hooked to the front, since one of the front tires was incapacitated. Did you know that the song Mater sings to himself is called Put It in the Bag, from the obscure Disney short cartoon series Humphrey and the Bear?
Making sculptures out of junk.
Put it in the sack, bump, bump. That's the way it's done. It's a lot of fun, bump, bump.
The Peterbilt's trailer has designs drawn by John Lasseter's sons.
I ain't no Mac, I'm a Peterbilt.
The Radiator Springs Grand Prix was originally going to be included in the first Cars movie, but the idea was used for the video game and Cars 2 instead. A deleted Radiator Springs character was named Mr. Windshield, a yellow, older car who looked similar to Doc. He was the town's optometrist who sold glass with glass. Revolting Batteries was the sponsor of a race car in Cars. One of their products is visible in Toy Story.
Alright, well, what's that, okay, let's just work on some edits. I mean, nobody's even here. Obviously, not everyone is here.
The sponsor of a race car in Cars. One of their products is visible in Toy Story 3, in the scene where the toys are gambling together. Did you know that Jerry and Ann Mira voiced the RV couple, Harvey and Winnie, who celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary in Piston Peak National Park? Jerry and Ann celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary in 2014, the same year that Planes, Fire and Rescue was released. Does Pulaski sound familiar?
No, sir, Pulaski.
Kapowski?
Pulaski.
Tootsie?
Pulaski.
That's because he's voiced by Patrick Warburton, who also voices Joe Swanson from Family Guy.
Hey, Peter, check it out, my new electric wheelchair.
The moonshine the legends were hinting at in Cars 3 is a direct reference to the business of running moonshine, which was popular during the time of Prohibition in the 1920s and 30s, a law which prohibited.
So today we're gonna react to the ultimate Sonic the Hedgehog recap cartoon, so let's buckle up and check this video out! So apparently, according to Shadow, this is like a really weird animation he wanted me to check out. Apparently he really wanted to see my reaction to it. I have no idea why, of course. Wait, what's going on here? Ah! Oh, you gotta be kidding me, why would you destroy something like that? Okay, it's me, Green Hill Zone. I don't really see what's so wrong about this one. Apparently everyone's been wanting me to react to this. Did I really fail that badly? I mean, this is kind of inaccurate. You know, in this situation, I wouldn't fail that badly. Wait, why is Eggman holding around balls like that? That's kind of sus, Eggman, not gonna lie. Wait, what am I doing with Tails? Hey, what was that? Wait, what was that? What? Wait a minute. I never do anything like that with Tails. Why are you implying Stone Tails? Oh, that is like the worst thing I've ever seen implied in my life. Ugh, I hate that. Oh, please don't tell me that this animation's gonna be weird. This is already getting weird, isn't it? I hate that. I hate that. Like, why would anyone find that any funny? Like, me and Tails aren't. Why is Eggman eating that much? Like, why would anyone find that funny? Me and Tails together, what, kissing? That's disgusting. I've never seen anything more violent in my life. I'm sorry, that wasn't even that funny. I'm sorry, I wish I could enjoy the animation, but I'm just so ticked off over, like, the So Tails reference. Oh, hey, oh, come on! I would enjoy a nice, wholesome Sonic animation, and then it's just getting weird. Look, I thought this was gonna be a nice time that I could enjoy with you guys, but no, it's just weird and weird. Why do animations always have to be weird? Well, okay, well, to be fair, that's exactly how Sonic R actually went. It wasn't like a smooth sailing ride like all of us thought it was gonna be. Like, it was a good idea in concept, but
It's chaos, dude.
I still can't believe they implied So Tails and So Nux of all things. Ugh, that just tickles my bones. I hate
I'll
that.
play with you some other time.
I mean, to be fair, Chaos is mainly just water. He is pretty easy to deal with, after all. All right, now this is happening. Finally getting to good stuff. And oh my, why am I so mean in this animation? Why can't anything just be normal? I don't understand why it's not normal. It's so weird. Aw, Eggman, don't do anything weird. Is he eating Chow? Okay, that's a new low, even for you, Eggman. Oh, this is clearly how Shadow runs. Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm the world's
The wannabe edgy loser. Well, hey, why does Rouge have those big bazonkazonks? It makes it really funny, because I've tapped that before. Don't tell Shadow, though.
That's kind of sus.
Oh, come on. Oh, Knuckles! This is a very dark depiction of how Sonic Heroes went. Which I can assure you, that's clearly not how it went. As someone who's actually there for those experiences. Oh, looks like the Team Chaotix has gone downhill a little bit. I mean, I don't really blame them. They don't really get much business nowadays, especially... And, of course, Vector's a crocodile. Oh, and we're gonna look at Shadow the Hedgehog now. Ugh. And why did it turn into a first-person shooter of all things? Wait, why is he aiming for me? Yeah, go ahead and do it, Shadow. To be fair, this is already better than your actual game. I mean, it's not really that hard to do, but you know what? I can say it's 100% better than the actual game that you have. All right, well, that's Blaze.
Sonic
What
Rush.
Blaze is going to be doing. Oh my gosh! I hope Blaze is okay. Guess you could say she's kind of hot, if you know what I mean. I'll figure myself out now. And loading. This is really how it went. This is really how it was when we played Sonic 06. It was a really annoying experience. Oh, wait. Oh, Sonic and the Secret Wings. Me and Shadow aren't the biggest fan of Sonic and the Secret Rings. Like, not gonna lie, it's not really anything special, but Sega did try their hardest with it, and you gotta respect that. Okay. This is really how the events went. See, this is what I mean. Some things in this animation work out incredibly well, and they are legitimately hilarious. But then it's coupled with weird stuff that just ruins everything. I mean, to be fair, that's actually how it went at the Olympic Games. You know, Nintendo and Sega trying to amp up the epicness of the race, but to be fair, I would actually beat Mario in a race. And I have, multiple times, thanks to the Olympic Games. Is this me trying to be like Michael Jackson? Like, I know Michael Jackson pretty much like inspired me. I'm like, come on, man.
Hey, bro.
This is not accurate. I have to be hit in the crotch. That's how it's supposed to go. At least from what I remember
Oh my
correctly.
god.
Why is he screaming so much? It's getting annoying.
Oh my god.
Please tell me that it's
Just
over.
freaking screaming.
Oh, it's a Night at the Round Table. Oh, I'm in Sonic and the Black Knight. I love Sonic and the Black Knight. That's one of my favorite games ever. Oh my god. Of course it had to turn weird and violent. It always does, doesn't it? Wait, why am I eating the Chow? Oh, not the Chow, the Wisps. Oh. Wait, would I still get the ability if I ate them? I don't like the implications of that. Please don't start us the Shadow or anything. He might actually try this out. And the whistle's so nice to me. They literally were the... What is that? Did I just turn into Sonic XL for a second? Oh, that's so gross. Wait, what is Homer Simpson doing there? What, Garfield? Wait, what? The kid from Rugrats? Wait, who's that supposed to be?
You'll always be my brother.
Oh, it's Fast and the Furious.
You can get a
Oh, it's
chance.
classic me. Why is it
No.
always turning into something gay? I hate that.
My God.
That's awful. Especially to myself. Like, come on, man.
Oh my God.
Okay, we're at Sonic Boom, obviously.
Oh.
Why is Knuckles so buffed?
Yeah.
That's one thing I never understood. And he also was kind of an idiot in that series. Like, he was just acting a little strange. Alright, we're at the character selection of Sonic Forces. Was that Sonic 2? Who was that?
Why?
Am I supposed to... Oh my god, it's a chili dog! I love chili dogs. Chili dogs are my favorite snack ever.
And of course it's a bomb.
Did I just fall for the bomb? I never would be that idiot. I mean, yeah, that's how the pumpkins actually went in the game, yeah. That's literally how it went. Wait, why am I in the ground? Is this supposed to be a Family Guy parody? This looks like the Family Guy house. Well, that was weird. But I hated all the sewn tail stuff. Why'd you have to add sewn tails into this? That's so that was... I wish you guys would recommend me like actual nice animations and not this weird stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, this can be funny once in a while, but I didn't like the implications of sewn tails. That just ruined everything for me.
Oh my God. That was freaking funny. Oh, Sonic.exe. Oh God, that's pretty creepy.
Did you know that as a
McQueen's
reference to
tongue.
the Cars writer and director John Lasseter, every now and then, Lightning McQueen's tongue pops out when he's thinking about something. This is a characteristic of Lasseter, which his animators gleefully incorporated into the film. Carl Fredrickson's car from Up has the same white walls as Lightning McQueen.
Same white wall tires. Those are literally the same white
Did you
wall
know
tires
the
as
tractors
McQueen.
that Mater and McQueen are tipping give off an electronic moo sound, which was taken from Milk the Marvelous Milking Cow, a Kenner toy
Hey, yo,
introduced
what?
in
That's kind of
1978.
disgusting.
Did you know that when Lightning McQueen wakes up in the impound yard, the parking boot is on the driver's side front tire, but Mater hooks up to Lightning's rear to tow him in? He should have hooked to the front, since one of
Well,
the
just
front
hook
tires
around
was
to the
incapacitated. Did you know that the song Mater sings to himself is called Put It in the Bag, from the obscure Disney short cartoon series Humphrey and the Bear?
Making sculptures out of junk. Put it in the sack. Bump, bump. That's the way it's done. It's a lot of fun. Bump, bump.
The Peterbilt's trailer has designs drawn by John Lasseter's sons.
I ain't no
Man, I'm a Peterbilt
The
for dang
Radiator
sake.
Springs Grand Prix was originally going to be included in the
Bro,
first
who's
Cars
insane?
movie, but the idea was used for the video game
I'm
and Cars 2
Achilles.
instead. He deleted Radiator
Yeah.
Springs' character,
Bro,
was
who
named
is
Mr.
Sonic
Windshield,
EXE?
a yellow, older car who looked similar to Dot. Was the town's
Needle in the dark, needle in
Glass.
the
Revolting Batteries was the sponsor of a race car in Cars. One of their products is visible in Toy Story 3, in the scene where the toys are gambling together. Did you know that Jerry and Ann Mira voiced the RV couple, Harvey and Winnie, who celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary in Piston Peak National Park? Jerry and
Shadow the Hedgehog is the biggest edgelord in the Sonic franchise. We are going to be playing the 2005 hit game Shadow the Hedgehog. We have to make it
Well,
from
you
the
just
beginning
go
of the
play
game to
mine,
the end. We'll do a
okay?
full run of a neutral story. Every time Shadow gets hit or dies, or even in a cutscene, he may drop an occasional swear. Every time he swears, we have to spin this wheel right here and do a challenge in a Sonic game.
Okay. How do we get Sonic Renegade? I am Western.
Oliver the Western Engine is the 24th book of the Railway series and was first published in 1969. It was written by Wilbert
I am
Audrey
not
and
Wilbur,
illustrated
bro.
by Mr. and Mrs. Peter Edwards. Over 20 years later, all 4 of its short stories were adapted into 4 short episodes of Thomas and Friends. How faithful were these adaptations? Let's see if we can spot the differences. The first story was made as episode 5 of the show's 3rd season. In addition to being a hard worker, the reason the Fat Controller gives the reopened coastal branch line to Duck is because it connects with the Arsdale Railway, and the Great Western Engine had become friends with the small engines. The existence of the small engines isn't mentioned in the episode, as neither they, nor even Skarloey's narrow gauge engines, had been introduced yet. As mentioned at the end of the previous book, Duck now has 2 coaches, Alice and Mirabelle. They have never appeared in the TV series, nor in the railway series since this book. In the episode, a new station is being constructed that Toby is helping Duck and the Scottish twins build. Toby does not appear in this book, and the building being built is instead a shed.
I'm Great Western and quack, quack, quack. What? You heard. Quack, quack you go, saying you'd an egg laid. Now whist and let an engine sleep. Quack yourself.
The narration in the book and the TV series show
Quack
and say
yourself.
that when Duck and Donald have their argument,
yourself,
and
bro.
when Duck strikes
Yeah, this is my reason. Kanye, snap out of it. This is not you. Oh no. Yep! I just got infected with the contaminated spread. Well, then I'm dead. Fall over the thing. The queen is
Look at a
there.
girl like you quit at the top of your game.
You think I quit?
He crashed.
Your big rack at 54.
They Hey, McQueen, you alright? Listen, don't you worry, pal. You had a good run. Enjoy your retirement. Storm takes back the lead.
Unbelievable! McQueen is fading!
Yeah, I
McQueen is
literally.
fading!
Let me just pause right here. Like, the fact is that I actually cried at this scene
Fading fast!
because McQueen was literally my childhood.
Get to decide.
McQueen is my childhood hero for most of my days. For most of my early days, that is. The Imposter Syndrome miniseries.
Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. More on them a little bit later. Welcome back to Sonic Speed Reading, and we're finally taking a
Sonic
look at
Speed
Imposter
Reading.
Syndrome, the latest mini-series from the IDW run. And anytime they introduce a new character into this canon, fan base is usually in an uproar, and it's especially interesting this time around because of the 2 new antagonists we're getting, who we will get to in just a moment. But first, let's start this story, which kicks off from the perspective of Dr. Starline. And all he's basically doing is recapping what Eggman and Sonic are all about and his problems with both of them. He's telling his video diary of his plan, Operation Remaster. With this plan, he'll finally be able to break what he affectionately calls the Sonic cycle. So basically, the rinse and repeat formula of Eggman versus Sonic going on forever and ever without any evolution or change is what he wants to bring an end to. And of course, there's some meta commentary there with Ian using famous phrases from the fandom like the Sonic cycle and talking about remasters. And I personally think it's a very clever way to entail this into an actual story. And I have to wonder if this is some kind of a commentary on the fandom feeling like they know what's best for Sonic. I certainly couldn't be blamed for anything like that. But yeah, we'll analyze that a little bit further at the end of the video. For now, let's keep going. If you've been keeping up with the series, or, well, with speed reading, then you already know what Starline's been up to. Taking a first sample from Tails, creating the Tri-Core, analyzing the complex design of Belle's brain. All of it was leading up to the creation of the 2 mystery creatures that have been hiding in those those green vats that we've seen before. The first of these creatures is meant to replicate Sonic, as we see a green streak make its way around an obstacle course. Nothing too dissimilar from what you'd see in a level of one of the Sonic games, even taking out Egg Pawns and that lumberjack mini-boss from Sonic & Knuckles. This is Surge the Tenrith, a vicious, violent, and volatile creature with all the speed of Sonic, all of it powered and amplified by electric abilities, and I have to wonder if this is a nod to movie Sonic. But while she is meant to replace Sonic flat out, Starline does admit there are a lot of other flaws to Sonic's core design, as he sees him as some sort of a project to analyze. One of Sonic's weaknesses is the need for...
I don't know. I mean, God of Knuckles is literally just a dead meme. It's just literally a dead meme, man.
Analytical balance, and that comes in the form of Kitsunami, the sad, submissive clone of Tails the Fox. And as you can see, he has a lot of hydro manipulation powers. So yes, obviously these two are meant to be evil versions of Sonic and Tails. And you can see some similar dynamics, but they are different enough that they are their own characters. And golly, you have to wonder if that is also a meta commentary for something else that's rather notorious when it comes to Sonic comics. Anyway, Surge completes the course, quite proud of herself, but instead of being met with praise, Starline tells her that she left Kit behind. To which she argues it doesn't matter, she made the record. Starline waves it off, saying that she's only proven her proficiency in a controlled environment. They're not ready to get onto the main missions that Surge so desperately wants to get started. But when Starline says that they're not ready and they need to test their skills in the field in another way first, she grows impatient, grabbing him by the collar and telling him that she's real tired of him talking down to her. But Starline is quick to pull out his Hypno Glove and puts her to sleep, doing the same to a startled Kit. So yeah, as we've seen before, after he lost the Warp Topaz, Starline fit himself with a new arsenal, one of them being these Hypno Gloves. And while they do have their limitations, he has built Kit and Surge specifically weak to these abilities, keeping them in control whenever they get out of line. And as they wake up, he gets them back on track. And as we see in the next couple pages, they're the ones responsible for all the calamities in the mainline series, including the forest fire of the national park and all the chaos in Central City. While all this is happening, Starline pays a visit to Tails' workshop in Emerald Town. Yes, the same one from Sonic Battle, I know, guys. And I love that he takes a moment to comment on the fact that it's Tails' face, saying that Tails takes after Dr. Eggman in some surprising ways, and I guess that is true, isn't it? He's here because he believes Tails is smart enough to figure out what Starline is up to if he ever analyzes Bell. So Starline is here to basically destroy any kind of research he might have. But unfortunately, even with the Tri-Core, he can't make his way into the workshop as it's very well reinforced. Kit and Surge show up to his location, sending Kit straight to work on the workshop, where he too is unsuccessful. So without wasting any more time and not wanting to bring attention to themselves, they rush back to the base, where they discover that Sonic's friends have already taken care of all the commotion caused by this troublesome trio. But it wasn't their goal to actually burn down the forest or destroy Central City. Those were just field tests to see if Surge and Kit were ready to take on something bigger. For Surge, she assumes that means that they're ready for the main mission, but Starline still has one more test to do. But Surge, once again, is at her limit, declaring that she was given the power to destroy Sonic, so let her destroy Sonic. Starline replies calmly that he gave her the power to change the world, but it will only work if they follow his plan. So before they take care of Sonic, they first must remove Dr. Eggman from play, and they can only do that once they strip him of his support. But before they do any of that, they must test out a bypass algorithm that Starline has created on a remote base. The next couple pages are really only here to show off the dynamic between the three. The impatient Surge wanting to jump in head first and just get to what they were meant to do, Kit quietly recommending that they play things safe only to get yelled at, and Starline quickly pointing out how Surge's headstrong attack could go wrong in so many different kinds of ways. Surge continues to yell at Kit, who just apologizes, which just makes Surge yell at him even more, telling him to stop cringing. They won't be able to take out Sonic if he's acting like a weakling, to which Kit once again apologizes. And the poor little blue boy is just at his limit. He just breaks down crying as Surge yells at him, asking, "Why do you even want to help me?" To which Kit responds with tears in his eyes, "I don't know." And that, surprisingly, distracts the temper temper of Surge, as she realizes she's not sure why she wants any of this either. She's never even met Sonic, at least she doesn't think she has, and it leads the two of them to begin questioning what they're even doing. Kit asks her, do you still want to destroy him? Surge tells him, yeah, but she's not sure why. And without an answer, she turns the question back onto Kit, and he just says that he wants whatever she wants, to which Surge asks, why? And after a pause, all Kit can say is, once again, he doesn't know. At this point, Starline, bored, just raises up his hand and reboots, shutting them both down. As per usual, he begins to talk to himself, a little frustrated. He thought keeping things simple would make things easier, then questions if he should build up a fake backstory for them, and while he's questioning all this, Surge gets back up, wanting to know what he did to her. At this point, Starline shoves the Hypno-Glove directly in her face until she collapses completely, with Starline looking a bit unnerved. This might be the first hint that maybe she's becoming resistant to these powers. He then makes his thoughts internal, not risking to speak out loud once again. And he says something rather interesting here. He had used Bell's base code to write personalities for Surge and Kit, and in turn he expected some more stability and control. There's something different about Surge and Kit when compared to the likes of Bell, and obviously we can tell that simply by the fact that they are organic creatures. Whatever the case is, Starline has invested too much to start all over. He's just gonna have to be a little more careful going forward. He believes once he puts them onto their primary objectives, things should even out. So it's time to get the ball rolling. He wakes the two of them up with some BS story about them glitching and showing them a lot more fatherly love than he ever has before. And you might also notice that Surge has been messing with her ear this entire issue as well. I wonder if that's going to come back into play. Anyway, Surge asks Confused about what is going on with this glitching, to which Starline says that yeah, we got into a heated argument which overloaded their upgrades, and basically just gaslights Surge, saying that it was her idea to do one more test. And with Starline acting apologetic, he says that he was wrong and he agrees that they should do one more test. Surge looks confused but says that sounds about right. And with that, this brings a close to part 1. Part 2 kicks off with yet again another video diary from Dr. Starline, this time explaining why it's so important they do one final test before they lay out the mission that he has planned. The base they operate from was once Eggman's, but they only managed to get a hold of that because Starline relied on a backdoor exploit of the Eggnet. If he's ever going to truly topple Eggman, he's going to have to relinquish control of everything in Eggman's power. So before they do that, he's going to use Surge and Kit to take over Egg Base Alpha. Outside of the base, he uses Kit's ability to control water to form a map of the base, which is really cool. I like seeing all the different ways he can manipulate water. The plan is that they're going to enter on the south end. From there, Starline himself is going to enter a control tower and upload a command program. While that is happening, Kit and Surge are going to ensure that no broadcasts are sent out to alert the Eggnet. They also take this moment to confirm that Eggman is indeed a gamer and throw in a Pingus joke, which very clever. I didn't catch that my first time through. Surge begins to question the plan, but Starline reminds her that this was her idea, even though it wasn't, and they set off to work. Surge is supposed to act as an escort for Kit, but she's not happy with that whatsoever, even if she believes that this is her idea for some reason. So she completely ignores what he wants to do and begins a full-on assault on some badniks. Kit nervously reminds her that they're not supposed to raise any alarms, to which she counteracts by saying that they can't make any kind of an alarm if they don't exist anymore. Kit nervously reminds her that these were Starline's orders, to which she quickly dismisses it by saying that he's not the boss of her, he's just tech support. She plans to do things her own way, and it's Kit's job to follow her. That's simple, and it's how it works. But even after all that bravado, she still plans to make her way over to the tower. Might as well do the stupid plan while they're here. Meanwhile, Starline casually strolls in, as he always does, into his planned tower, but is distracted by the Egg Cave, which you might recall from the second annual of IDW Sonic. And he tells himself that he's ahead of schedule, so he can afford a small detour. While all that's happening, Surge and Kit make their way over to their planned tower, but they're greeted by a giant egg mech. She tells Kit to take care of the tower while she tackles the boss. We turn our attention back over to Starline, admiring all the junk in the Egg Cave, including old school badniks and some of the Sonic action figures we saw in that annual. And while he reminisces of a simpler time, he turns his attention over to the mechanical Starline action figure. A little reminder of how disposable Starline was to the good doctor. And once again, we see Starline's true goal here. Yes, he does plan to supplant the doctor, but he's still desperate for his own admiration, even though he ironically can't give it to Surge and Kit himself. The comic turns his attention back to Surge and Kit, with the little water fox believing that Surge has been crushed, which causes him to freak out and show off the full potential of his water powers. As it turns out, she is just fine, and they finally take down the big bot, but unfortunately they find themselves surrounded by a bunch of badniks. But before they start their attack, the badniks applaud them. As it turns out, Starline had succeeded, and now he has full control over the base and all of its badniks. And when they finally all meet up again, Starline finally praises the two of them for all of their great work. The override was a success, no alarms were triggered, the plan went flawlessly. It's now time to begin the master plan, after a wardrobe change, as Starline realizes that Surge is a little bit messed up. And while Kit shakily tries to explain, Surge quickly jumps in, saying that she was a little careless, and that Kit was a big help. So yeah, as toxic as their relationship seemed to be at the start of the story, it looks like these two are finally truly bonding. After Starline dismisses the two, Surge takes Kit over to a room without any cameras or any mics, and the two of them should be able to detect that with their abilities. As it turns out, while Surge seems to be doing all of Starline's bidding unquestioningly, she's actually been showing a little bit of restraint. Things aren't adding up to her, and she thinks that Starline's behind all of it. And now that she knows that she can truly trust Kit, she is counting on him to help sort out what's actually happening. So while Starline readies his master plan, Surge and Kit concoct their own secondary one behind Starline's back. And that is where part 2 ends. Before we jump into the next issue, let's talk about that project you've been holding off on for far too long. You know the one, that comprehensive gallery of pizza-themed underwear. Or maybe you're trying to sell some pizza-themed underwear. Literally why his plans fell apart during Bad Guys, and he has not learned anything. But so far this isn't anything really damning for Surge and Kit. They understand that they are created creatures. They keep watching video files with Starline explaining the purpose of everything he's been tracking down in the comics. So the fur of Tails, the coat of Belle. As it turns out, Starline didn't want to just recreate the free will that Belle has. He wanted the ability to control them without them actually realizing it. And this is where Kit and Surge realize they are susceptible to his hypnotic abilities. And this is where things get truly twisted, as the next video files show hypnotherapy sessions with Surge and Kit, implanting their simple desires of destroying Sonic, and in Kit's case, devoting himself completely to Surge. On top of all that, we see a lot of footage of the two of them failing quite a bit. I think it is kind of alluding to them maybe not potentially dying, as they explain that they are quite resilient with their upgrades, but at the very least there's a lot of psychological trauma from all the tests he's put them through. And since he can't comic, they can't flat out say that these characters are getting murdered over and over again, but it is kind of treating them like lives, you know, like he's treating them like actual video game characters, and he's just playing a game of Sonic the Hedgehog, where Sonic never actually dies, but you can still lose a life. And when you think about it in those terms, it can be quite traumatic and terrifying. Man, we have a lot to take apart with these characters. This is fascinating. But here's the real kicker. Here's the actual terrifying part for Surge and Kit. She realizes that they are cyborgs. Sure, he has implanted upgrades and other things inside of them, but he didn't make them from scratch. That means that they had their own lives and personalities prior to Starline. That's the craziest part here. We weren't sure what was going on with them. We just assumed because they were in vats and stuff that they were just created in a lab, but no. There's more to their story than we or even they realize. Surge is desperate for more answers about their pasts and tells Kit to look through the archives even further. But Kit can't find anything, which Surge finds ridiculous. There are so many video files and they're so detailed. Why wouldn't there be anything about who they were? And that's because it's irrelevant, at least according to Starline, as he enters the room. with a bored expression, saying it's past their bedtime. As it turns out, this isn't the first time this has happened. Starline reveals that this exact scenario with all these revelations have happened before, and it always ends the same way, as he raises up the hypnotic glove. But this time things turn out differently, as Surge covers her eyes and sends Kit after him, who looks like a straight up demon. I love that. Starline activates his Tricore and a fight breaks out, and he holds up his own against the two quite impressively. But ironically, as Starline said himself in the videos, they have been learning, and these two have finally learned to work together as a duo. Starline himself forgets all about Kit, who grabs a hold of him, and Surge takes a hold of his hypnotic glove and uses it on the platypus, knocking him out. With the platypus incapacitated, Kit asks, "What now?" And Surge says that they're going to burn it all down. Sonic, Eggman, every idiot that follows either of them, no more heroes, no more villains, nothing. If they don't get a past, then nobody gets a future. But she's not quite sure how to make that happen. But the quiet Kit might have an idea or two, and surprisingly, Surge doesn't scream at him and instead opens the floor to the little fox. And he suggests Starline already has a plan in motion, one that will bring everybody together. They could keep following the plan he has set in motion, but at a particular point, take it in their own direction. One that does destroy Sonic and Eggman, but also Starline.
Alright guys, so yeah, this video is gonna be pretty short. Let me just end right here.